Hey everybody. So yeah, I am done with the this round of mesh uh, angles animation, and just sort of in honor of the fact that I'm going to be moving and trying to get fonts, um, font meshes in. Right now, we only have two kinds of meshes. We have uh, let's see, we have cube and sphere, and I would like to get font. Um, so I made my own little V, and then I put a back behind it, a back wall. So and basically all this is like left is just it's just a square that's been shrunk and is a little longer and then tilted by 45 degrees. So this is something I couldn't do like 3 or 4 days ago, and now I can. But it would be, and this is just sort of an example of like how cool of graphics I'll be able to build once I have fonts in here, because I mean this is pretty cool. I think the I have a couple of lights. Let's see. I have one that's animated. I have a purple light that's just sitting behind there or actually it's sitting just over it. So like probably right around here. Um, and then I have an animated light that's zooming in from the camera towards that and then behind it. So, so if we go to the animations, oh, let me hit start. We are 143 in. So if I go to the animations and I pause it, when I go all the way to the end, the light is behind there. And oh my God, I think that looks so cool. And then as I back out, the light is coming towards me. You can kind of see the shadowing from the light being right in front of it. And you can see that the current Y position of the light is 0.37. And the Z position is really the one that matters most, is 0.47. So it's just in front of it. So and it's 0.37. I think zero is right here. So it's like right here, and that's why we have these shadows here. Um, I think that is a very cool graphic. I mean, and then yeah, now the light keeps. Oh, let me select that. Now the light keeps coming towards us, towards us, towards us, and now it's basically what? Let's go back to Z. It's sitting at 3. I believe the camera's sitting at 4 or 5. So it's sitting a couple in front of the camera, the light, and then the graphic is right there. I was wondering right before this what would happen if I moved it closer. So let me move the camera up to where. So now let me turn this animation back on. Oh man, that is so cool, especially with like some kind of sound, zoom, V-Man. Um, the Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think this does show that like once I can get letters in there, I'll probably be able to make pretty cool um, icons. Maybe these little icons here, or maybe graphics for T-shirts. I think that would be a cool, like really almost any point on the whole timeline. Like that is freaking cool. I like how the purple is up here and all that, and you know, and with this tool, like I have full control over the colors. Like let's say I want it to be like more like green and yellow. Um, just go over to the lights. Let's turn green all the way up. That's cool. And then let's go ahead and go to this light and turn it to yellow, which I believe is blue and red. Is that right? No. Oh my God, that was cool. That is really cool. Yeah. So that's not as cool. I actually think that is more cool. Let's see, aqua, blue. But yeah, I mean, it's just like the options are really, really cool. Are really awesome. Um, Pretty happy with that. I think, yeah, the 12-year-old in me is like just beside himself right now. So last time I was just trying to do a bit of refactoring. Basically, And I was hoping, I was experimenting with signals. I still can't really wrap my mind around the best way to use them at this point. What I added this new thing, this new interface, and I said, oh, I'm gonna have signal type, uh, and then I'll have a supported types, right? So this is what I was going off as mapped supported types, and that's what describes uh, what things are allowed in here, I believe. That's these guys up here. It's a dictionary, basically, and it has a string with the supported type. So I say why. Well, I mean, oh, we'll see in a second. So, anyways, this was the new thing I thought, and really what I need, and I don't need it for this one because these supported types don't change; they're not dynamic. But what I really need, I think, is a hash, and then that would be a string, and then that hash would be calculated based on the data in the supported types. So then, whenever the signal published, I would be able to check to see, okay, is the data different? And if it is, update the data or rerun the logic or whatever it is that needs to do it. But it isn't, so this signal type here, not useful. Not useful at all because the whole effect runs. So when I go to this animation properties and I have this effect code that's down here, all of this effect runs, but it always asks for whatever it's asking for. Like, so this is asking for the animation pairs, and this one is asking for the supported properties, um, and it always asks for it. So you already know what you asked for, so that is useless. And that's not the first time that I've tried to work on something and I found out it was useless. But the hash would actually be useful because then I would be able to save this data and then compare it to the last time I got this data. And if that data was different, then rerun, let's see, rerun this. Let me go rerun this logic, right? So right now I just say, hey, if it's undefined, go ahead and set it. And then go ahead and update the filtered properties. So what it's basically saying is, hey, if I have a dictionary, then let's go ahead and go through the list of possible properties and only show the ones in here. So for example, red is not animated for meshes. And this is, I don't think this is a mesh though, lights. So red color is not animated for anything but scenes, right? So when I looked at go here and I go to red, there's nothing available in there because there's nothing animated that there are no animated objects that red applies for. So that's all this does is it filters out. So in this case, this filter table removes everything. There's nothing there. But then since a X rotation can be, is that right? Oh, because it's a light, yeah. Since X position can be lights, it doesn't filter it out that time. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. But anyways, the point is you really, if you're going to use signals, at least the way they work in my brain, the way I think they work, you need to have some way, if you're going to have more than one signal in an effect, you need to have some way to determine which signals changed, which I think technically will always only be one because I think any one of these fires this effect. But it seems like all this logic fires every single time any effect runs. So whenever the supported property types signal runs, this code, this mapping of table data runs. Even though animation pairs didn't change, it still runs. So animation pairs is also a signal. And believe that is a signal that comes from an input. So anytime you were to change the inputs, like if you were to change the input, which I don't do, actually, which is how I manage this input changes, this supported property dictionary gets set, even though the supported property dictionary is not being is hasn't changed yet. So um, I don't know. It's confusing. I know it's weird. That's like kind of the nature of this sort of I was gonna say asynchronous, but that's not really the right word. Um, this sort of intercommunication, intercomponent slash service communication. Anytime you do any of that stuff, um, you know, it changes. I mean, everything uh, updates, and that's just something you have to manage. And that stuff's always weird. Um, and that's that. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. V-Man appreciates your views, and that is freaking cool. You gotta admit, that's cool. Um, happy coding. Bye.